without any further ado, I don't want to spend all day out here. We got only an hour to go through this with Stacie. Stacie, come on out and join me, and you could introduce yourself. But I know she's the Executive VP of Marketing and Distribution. We were just talking about that, and I saw on LinkedIn, because I do follow LinkedIn, as you should as well. It was announced that she got that promotion on LinkedIn, so I saw it there. I think, Stacie, congratulations.
Thank you.
And that's probably as a result of the good job that you've been doing for Conquest. So without any further ado, why don't you take over and do a great job for us at IDC?
Sounds great. Thanks, Don. Appreciate the gracious introduction. Hello, everybody. It's very lovely to be back here again, discussing conquest planning and the technology with you. In the vein of Don's introduction, this has been the most fun I've had in my career. I know a number of you on the call today. Hello to those of you I know, and nice to meet those of you I have not had the pleasure of meeting yet. Today, we're going to talk a little bit more about conquest, but I thought I'd share a little bit of a slideshow deck to everybody before I jump into a demo of the platform. And really what I want you to pay attention to is when I'm going through the session today, just think about your business and think about marginal improvements that you can do in your business. I'm very passionate about financial planning and financial advice delivery. I actually started my career as an independent advisor at RBC Dominion Securities 20 years ago. And since that time, I've worked in financial services. And the last 3.5 years I've been with Conquest, it's been really cool to see how this technology has completely disrupted the space, how rapidly we are growing, and how efficiently we're helping advisors like yourselves streamline their business, deeper serve the families that you're working with today, and acquire new clients that fit your target customer profile. So without further ado, let me go ahead and share this introduction deck that I'm going to go through with you today. We already had the introduction. Thank you, Don, for the very lovely words at the beginning. So here's where I want to start with everybody today. So when you think about where the industry has evolved from, back in the day, there were insurance reps that would like knock on doors and try and sell insurance at the doors of people, and we would try to get more information out into the world and find clients who were underinsured and families that were in need of financial advice or maybe investment planning if you're a duly licensed advisor. But where we're sitting today in terms of financial planning and what we see in terms of the marketplace and what's happening with traditional financial planning advice is that the tools in use today are quite often single standalone calculators. They're limited in their functionality in terms of illustrating a specific need or requirement. They're not often technology heavy, so we don't have really great digital experiences in the industry today. But if you think about the rest of the world and how we book a hotel or how we book a car service or how we purchase things. I was just on Amazon this morning getting toothpaste because I ran out of toothpaste, and now I can have it delivered to my house rather than having to drive to the store and get toothpaste. Consumer expectations are changing in terms of how we meet and fulfill our needs on a day-to-day basis. And the same holds true in financial services. When we look at the landscape of where we're going, your clients are going to continue to expect more digital enablement. They're going to want to see more transparency on the advice that you're giving them and the value that that advice is delivering. And robots are never going to take over the world. So we all remember the robo advice launch days, and there was concern that advisors would become obsolete. We've seen very clearly that that is not going to happen, and it isn't happening. And the reason is when we are having very emotional conversations around finance and our financial well-being, we as people need the help and comfort and support that we get from advisors. So that human validation and then the personalization in what you present to your clients is where we see the future of advice going. So when Conquest came to market, if you don't know our background, it's really cool. We were built by the original creators of Navaplan. Our president and CEO, Dr. Mark Evans, did his computer science doctorate in the late 80s, and his thesis was on distributed artificial intelligence. He's been a pioneer in the industry and came back to market in 2018 to build Conquest. The thesis of building Conquest was the numbers you're looking at on the screen today. So up to 90% of people around the globe today do not have access to a financial plan. Now in Canada, that number is a little closer to 75%, but still there's a significant portion of the population that doesn't have access to sound advice because they're getting it in those silos, those standalone calculators, those single transactions when they go to the bank to qualify for a mortgage or to get out a student loan, those types of situations. And the reason that only 75% of Canadians have access to advice is typically the planning process is very cumbersome. So I remember when I started out as an advisor at RBCDS, we had illustration software. It was like the early 2000s. And we were going on fund focus. So we would share the funds and we were going after investors that had net investable assets and certain minimum thresholds. And so those customers were getting access to advice because they hit the hurdle rate of having access to enough money to qualify to get that advice. But once we got into the planning process, that planning process was quite cumbersome and it really hasn't evolved over the last couple decades. The average amount of time it takes an advisor to create a financial plan is 10 hours. And that is a lot of time and investment on your part to actually invest in working the nuances out for your households that you serve. And then if your clients don't like your recommendation, you have to take it back to the table, rejig the numbers, and go back again. So Conquest Planning was born on a scalable platform with embedded artificial intelligence to help you reduce the time it takes to create a plan and ensure that you get every one of your clients into an advice-centered relationship with a financial plan that lives with them as their life evolves. And that's what I get the pleasure of showcasing for you today. I'm going to show you a few success stories. So you think about your business. This is real client success from one of our partner firms that's provided us graciously these statistics back. We don't know what the drive increase in AUM or increase in insurance sales looks like unless firms tell us what that looks like. And these are real statistics. So moving over to Conquest, we have clients who are creating 50% more plans than before, and that's with no more time out of their pocket. They're seeing significant increases in AUM. In fact, 87% increase in AUM by household. They're capturing more share of wallet, so everything under the roof rather than just a piece of the pie. 97% increase in wealth sales. And then specifically, when you think about, your core bread and butter being insurance, 31% increase in annual insurance premiums. Looking at these numbers with a 19% higher cross-sale rate, you can imagine the impact to your business personally if you adopt Conquest. And I have some testimonials I'm going to showcase for you because don't take my word for it. John said that I run marketing as well, and I always make sure that any of the content we put out into the world is authentic and organically generated, and we never pay for advertisements of that nature. So these are all real numbers. Group members, we power pension programs and advice retirement programs. And in one pension plan that we worked with in Canada, we saw a 95% engagement rate of group members and 40% re-engagement. And to give you some context to this, this is off the charts. Group benefit plans are really happy if they get an 8% engagement rate. So they were just absolutely blown away about the way they were able to deeper serve these plan members who had retirement planning needs. And then one of our partner firms, this was IG Wealth Management, in their first year of going into production with Conquest, they went from doing 60,000 plans a year to 220,000 plans per year in just 1 year. And they've continued on to double that. Not only that, another win for IG Wealth Management is there were 9% of new customers bringing $1 million or more into the business before they introduced, 12% of new customers here were bringing in $1 million or more when IG had their old planning platform. When they moved over to Conquest, they were attracting 26% of new clients that were coming aboard were bringing with them $1 million or more because of the nature of the platform, uncovering more assets, making those conversations easier for clients to have, and quite frankly, attracting a higher caliber and higher net worth client. And then this was one other firm that we had. They had a 9% increase in AUM at IG and had one of their best years financially ever the year after they implemented Conquest. So some statistics for you to consider as you're learning a little bit more about us today. This is just a handful of the partners we have in market. So like Don said, we have had tremendous success in Canada. Right now, we're serving just over 60% of the Canadian marketplace, and that is in just under 3.5 years. And this also speaks to firms like IDC and Worldsource. When I first started talking to your company 3 years ago about the idea of an embedded financial planning tool, you will remember that firms typically will negotiate contracts with planning tools, and you'll get a discounted price because you're independent. You can choose whoever you want to work with. You can go to planning platform X, Y, or Z. But we don't do that at Conquest. We don't have retail solutions because our goal is to be embedded into an ecosystem. Like when you sign into us with single sign-on behind your portals, we want to make sure that we're adding value to the MGA so that they're providing an easier way to run your business and provide deeper value in how they already provide great product access, great grids, great training, and ongoing support to run your business as effectively as possible. So I will also give a shout out that Worldsource was our very first MGA to sign a deal of this nature in Canada. So you're working with a very innovation-oriented organization with a leadership team that cares a great deal about you running your business and how you run your business. So a few other big brand names on here, which over here at Conquest we're pretty proud of. Many more to come. We have a couple new press releases actually going out this week. So let's just watch a little testimonial so you can hear about what some of our advisors are saying, and then we're going to jump into the demo.
So Conquest has improved our team in a variety of ways. I think foremost, there's the corporate module, there's the insurance feature, the what if scenarios. All of these really seamlessly integrate into our planning deliverables and allow us to really compare and contrast, providing a really, really great deliverable for our clients. Something that's seemingly small, but for our team cost a lot of time was formatting. Our previous software required a lot of manual work. And with Conquest, they introduced a custom section, and that allows us to work within the software, pretty much eliminating the need for any manual formatting at the end. So again, we can just really focus in on our expertise, which is the complex and sophisticated planning needs for our clients. I think lastly, there's the ability for our team to share. So sharing plans with amongst our advanced wealth planning group, it allows us to look at each other's work, any strategies, peer reviews. That process has been so seamless for our team.
Probably the biggest thing is the time savings. So advisors listening to this will understand what it's like to have to build a plan and then copy it. Generally speaking, with a lot of tools, having to copy it and then test variable by variable to see what the impact of every single change is. And because of a lot of the automations built into Conquest, a lot of that's done simultaneously. And in many cases, depending on how you want to interact with Conquest, it can be done for you as well. So just testing all of the ideas that we as advisors have that usually takes hours and multiple iterations of plans, doing that in a couple of clicks it's been such a time saver. So it used to take me, 10 to 12 hours to build a plan, test, come out with a final copy. And like I just did one yesterday for a fairly complex case, and from data entry to completion was probably 60 minutes. So it's just an unbelievable time saver.
So Conquest has certainly added the ability for us to have a really comprehensive planning discussion with clients in real time. And that means that the planning discussion is interactive. It's certainly less stilted. It is less of a step-by-step process and much more recursive. And so that conversation is very helpful for the clients because they see things at work. And it's also helpful for really digging into and getting a comprehensive data set from the client, i.e. understanding goals and objectives, understanding rationale and reasons behind why some of the facts and figures that they've delivered are important to them, how they're going to fit into their lives, and so on. So that's really how it's enhanced that.
Okay, lastly, before I jump into the demo, I'm going to leave this on screen just for a few minutes. And you can read through. I'll circulate this afterwards, Dawn, if you want to send it out to attendees. That would be great. If you go on our website, we have a number of testimonials. We have been featured in over 200 different publications. We have been named one of the globe's fastest fintechs to watch by CB Insights. It's been very disruptive in terms of how it's making an impact in the market. So we hope that you take the time to consider it and see how it will improve your practice as well. So here is our planning platform. So I promised Dawn a couple things. I said that I would show you our digital fact finding. So how you quickly engage customers or clients. Sorry, I use them interchangeably. There's a lot of thought leadership around whether we should call them clients or customers. And I refer to them as very valued individuals that help to power the business that we are in and need your services and advice. But what I'm going to go through with you today is a little bit of a plan. This is the same template plan I use for most of my demos. It's Bill and Susan Adams. We're going to go through everything from how you use the tool to engage your clients on the front end to how we go through and actually present a digital story on the back end and the customization that's available in that. So first, let me familiarize you with what we're looking at. If you follow us on LinkedIn or any of our social platforms. I'm just gonna go big here so you can see it all. Follow us on any of our social platforms. You will have noticed that we sent out a press release on early June, talking about SAM Insights and SAM Guidance. So I'd like to introduce you to SAM if you're not familiar with it already. SAM is here in our corner here, and SAM stands for Strategic Advice Manager. Now, you can think of SAM as sort of the caddy to the golfer. So the user of the tool, whether that be you or your client, both users of the tool, SAM acts as a caddy to support those users. So SAM initially, when you come into the application, is going to have guidance on, and I've just put it up here for you. SAM will guide you on how to use the tool, because remember that 10 hours I was talking about before? Part of that 10 hours is because planning tools are cumbersome and complex, and you have to take significant time to learn it. And we knew we would not get good adoption of this tool if we did not build it in a way that would be easily adopted by the users of the platform, be it the advisor or the end client. And so SAM acts as a caddy to support you in guiding and navigating the tool. You can ask SAM questions, whatever you would like to do. You can, we're just launching a feature that you can actually voice talk to SAM. It will come out in R11, where we have an innovation think tank over here, where we pioneer the future of what we think will be easier engagement for clients down the road. But we'll leave that aside for today. SAM will allow you to type in or eventually talk in questions that you might have, like take me to the planning page, or tell me what retirement reports exist, or take me to recommendations to solve the education goal for this specific client, and the application will go right to that area for you. So it helps you with navigation, understanding what's next to do. And this is SAM here. On the right-hand panel, we have a number of icons here. The upper icon here with the light bulb is our Insight panel. Now, this is for you as an advisor to see how the plan is doing. On the client portal, which I will show you, I've got them both open for you here today. There is no it's not as much robust information. We tried to make it simple and bite-sized so that your client can be in that portal at the same time, looking at the plan while you are planning on it asynchronously or synchronously, but in different locations around the globe. The insights are going to show you how the plan is doing and make some recommendations. So in this plan, we haven't solved it yet. We've got some issues. The retirement goal is not solved for. We're only 81% funded on the way to that goal. We have not saved sufficient money for the 2 children in this plan that want to go to school, and we've got no money set aside for the trip to Greece. Our legacy right now, which is net estate at end of life, is only $251,000. And we also have in-app guidance and help icons to help you as you're learning the tool. So you can always click on these little question marks as you go through the application when you're learning it for the first time. And we've taken really a multi-prong approach. So we've got the in-app guidance, we have the insights, and then we have something called a knowledge base, which I'll show you a little bit later here. To continue on with the insights over here in the panel, we always give a top priority to really help you, or if you think of maybe you have a junior advisor that you're bringing into the practice for succession planning, or think about yourself when you first got into the business. I know when I went and got my Canadian Securities course and my LLQP, nobody taught me what to say to clients. So it taught me kind of the technical product knowledge that I needed to know, but it didn't teach me how to actually sell that with a story to a client, or like tell them why that was important or how they should do it to optimize their personal situation. We've embedded those tool tips and that information into this tool to help you prioritize those conversations and trigger the next best action for these clients. So that is our top priority, and you can scroll through the cards here and take a look at them. You can update as you see. This one's interesting because it says, has all your clients' financial data been entered? And that may not be the case. So I'm going to go over and show you our digital fact finder. We have a number of different fact finders, but this is the one your clients will see. When you send them, there is a link in the application. When you move into it, you can either invite a brand new client to start a Conquest plan from your client list, and that will send a link that will bring up details to the, so I've gone into the wrong portal here. Let me go back here to advisor. It will be a link that goes to the client where they can fill out all of the data themselves. Or it could be an update link that once they get into the portal, you can go into the share settings here and you could send an email to Bill and Sue Adams. You can invite them and then they will be having client portal access, which if I get out of full screen mode, will look like this. So this is the client dashboard. When you invite your clients to it, this is what they're going to see with the information that's in here. They can update information if they want to in here. This is a pre-filled plan. And Sam will always act again as a caddy to your user or your client to help deeper engage them in the planning process. Because if you think about your clients and how they're taking action on your recommendations today, the more you can give them information that is specific and relevant to them, not just, you know, give me a void check to set up a pack or to pay for this insurance that your family needs. It actually is building their financial well-being. You're deepening that loyalty and that relationship that you have with them. So they can update their information here as their life evolves. Maybe they get a new job. Maybe Bill decides to become a surgeon and it's no longer $7,500 for Bill Jr. for 4 years, each of 4 years for school. Maybe that goes up to $50,000 or more for what the tuition is going to be. But the point is, with Conquest, it's a living plan, and we expect you and your clients to get in here and update information as and how they see fit as their life evolves. They always have this button here to contact their advisor. When they click on this, you're going to get a notification in your portal saying that Bill and Susan Adams are wanting to have a conversation with you. And also, you can set up sandboxes for them so that if the clients want to play around with alternate scenarios, they can do so without impacting the live plan. And we can show that a little bit later when we get to that. So that is the client portal, and I just wanted to go in and show you the fact finding. So this is a digital fact finder. You have the ability to send, when you send the initial link to start a new client file, and like think about your cohort of clients, right? There's not every client that's going to be comfortable typing their personal data into a laptop, or iPhone. It's going to look like this for them. Let's let it load here, because most of your clients, we've set this thing up so that it's totally mobile responsive, because it's unrealistic to think that people are going to sit down at their computer and go give you information for a financial plan. We think it's highly unlikely. The stats for bank engagement rates on mobile applications, something like 85% is done on a phone. So your client will get this. They will fill in what they can. It's very easy. They can edit it here. I could change it to Billy if I want, and then go ahead and save it. I'm working right in a mobile responsive environment. I can go to the next item, fill in what I want. So We've already got a retirement goal. We've already got financial well-being, which is an assessment of how we're doing. We know Bill Jr. and Sally are going to school, but your clients could select to do something else. So maybe through the discovery process, they want to set up a major purchase. They could go ahead and set up a major purchase and confirm and go back to the advisor. And then each screen only shows a little bit of data at each time. So your Gen Zs, your millennials, I'm telling you, they are expecting this. If you don't have a tool that gives the ability for them to do something like this, you're going to lose that client in the long term, because quite frankly, those clients want to engage. They want to have the comfort of a human advisor and that support system, but they need to have technology at their fingertips that enables them to participate in this planning process. So you can go through here. You can select detailed information, and this is really important too. So Worldsource has selected aggregation on your platform. So you have the ability to aggregate off-book assets. That helps drive some of those numbers I showed you earlier today in the PowerPoint presentation. But Bill and Billy now, because I renamed him, would have the ability to go in and aggregate off-book assets through a connection that we have with Flinks that goes out to 75 different institutions. Your clients would be able to log in, and they would be able to onboard or import any details from any off-book investments that they may have. I know the primary purpose of the audience today is insurance, but any of you that are duly licensed, we could go in here and you can actually type in, I won't do it for the purpose of the demo today. Actually, maybe I will. It's a great day. And then the password is every day. And now Sam is working and going out to the market, and people like triangles the most. Oh, I think it's with a capital T there. And now what's happened, when I go back into the other advisor view, I'm going to show you how this actually connected and brought in some off-book assets. So it's really cool, the capabilities that the platform has. It's very modern. I'm going to save and exit because we want to get out of the client experience. But I just want to give you a showcase of, you have at your fingertips the ability to send a link to your clients. They can type in, or prospects, they can type in their name and address and whatever details they can give you. They can click a button and send it to you, and you're no longer doing all the manual data entry yourself. You're actually offloading some of your work to your clients, but by doing that, you're actually deeper engaging them in the process, because people like to feel in control of their finances.
If the client changes info from their side, just to test things out, and does it change all the info on the advisor side as well?
No, it doesn't. It goes into what's called a sandbox environment. So when you're in what we call it a plan alternate. So we're in a recommended plan right now, but if I had created a plan alternate, or if the client had created a plan alternate, you would see it at the top right here. And then if the advisor liked the recommendations the client played around with, the advisor could control promoting that plan from a plan alternate to the recommended or live action plan. So the answer is no, the client won't mess it up. And you can turn it on and off. So when you do the review and you go to client resources and you want to present a digital story, you can actually turn on and off what you send and what you choose to enable them to turn on or off from a sandbox environment. Because you might have some nervous Nellies, right, that you don't want to play around with the plan because they just, won't be able to sleep at night. But yeah, so the advisor is always in control. So I showed you aggregation. So in the fact finding piece, there's other ways you can type in data. So you can go into the client's data cards yourself. So I've just gone into client data. These are the same cards that showed in the client portal over here. So they're going to have their information summary here. All the details are the same. They can edit an update. You'll get notified if they do an update. But here's where you do additional planning. So when you think about coverage, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about risk management and how to sell insurance using this platform. But it's important for me to give you the context. So we are not just a personal planning platform. We cover personal, corporate, family trust, and advanced estate planning, which means Conquest scales the entire wealth continuum from your mass market to your ultra high net worth with the functionality we've built in the tool. For the time we've been in market, this is really impressive. We have a team of 75 engineers or developers that work on this tool in bi-weekly sprints. We're an agile organization, so we release new features and functionality to the tool on a monthly basis. This doesn't have a corporation, but if you put in a corporation, it will suggest if the corporation requires additional insurance needs. And family trust can be included, and estate planning for designating beneficiaries, adding life policies, net to heirs goals, net to charity goals, those kinds of things can all be accommodated within the tool. So that's data entry. Let's go back to the dashboard a little bit, and let's actually go in and do a little bit of planning. So we have a couple options when you're in the planning tool in terms of how you choose to navigate it. We have an auto plan with SAM function that actually is, SAM is artificial intelligence in that it doesn't learn things, but it takes all the massive amounts of data in the tool. It looks at who Bill and Sue are, like what type of income they have. Are they employed, self-employed, commission? Are they investment income, dividend income, rental income, all the types of potential incomes they are bringing in. It looks at what they have already contributed to things like RSPs, TFSAs. It looks at what insurance they have right now, and then it runs an algorithm to suggest the next best action to achieve the goals that we're trying to solve for. So I'm going to show it to you in expert planning mode so you see what's happening, but when you get in the tool, definitely play around with auto plan with SAM. It's super cool. We always have an internal joke here that we try and see who can beat SAM and who can do a better plan than SAM, and to date none of us have, but there's personal preferences sometimes when you're talking to clients about the strategies that they want to do, which we have some personal preferences built in, and the strategies are ranked based on those preferences. But there might be emotional things that your clients don't want to do that SAM suggests that you just swipe aside and take the next thing instead. Okay, so now we're in the plan. We're doing some planning. We're going to solve for this retirement goal. A couple things to acclimatize you to. We have this KPI dashboard at the top, so that's a key performance indicator dashboard. This is configurable by you as the advisor. It's a tool for you to look at what you want to look at. So if you want to go into settings, you can choose some or all or none of these, and that will show up at the top. It's just a visual piece, so you can keep an eye on what you're doing as you're going through the planning process. And then in our analysis window, you also have the ability to configure what you want to see. So I always show the available investments tab because it's easy to see. These tabs are drillable, dynamic, and clickable. No longer do you have to go search for reports. And if you do need to search for a report, you don't have to scroll through. You can just type in and ask Sam right here and tell Sam what you want to find, and Sam will bring it back for you. But you can table many of these charts and graphs. You can pop it out into another window and have 4 of them as a visual on another screen. So you just have a bunch of powerful analytics to look at as you're going through efficiently the planning process. And to give you an idea here, we have hundreds of charts and graphs and ways to slice and dice the details of this plan. But the most important thing of how we navigate the plan is the strategy list. So as you're building a plan is simply a list of things to do to achieve a certain goal. So in this case, the client is looking to retire. They want to retire at 65 with $7,500 a month, but they have a shortfall. They only have $6,300 a month. And you can edit how, if you don't like 6.36K, you can change it and look at a different viewpoint. But we're going to implement this client's recommended asset mix. So you would have done a risk tolerance questionnaire, or you would have collected it through the planning journey. We're going to implement that. That's great. We're going to save for retirement, even though we're overfunded. We're going to save for retirement because this client said they had $600 a month to invest. $650 actually. And then once they get to invest that is actually allocated to an RSP because the system is smart enough to ideally allocate where those dollars should go. So you don't have to do any manual calculations. Now, when that money, $650, went into the RSP, it generated a new strategy here, which is save your tax refund. So what you don't see happening behind the scenes is every time we apply a strategy, Sam is re-ranking and reprioritizing this list of strategies to look at the next best action that the client is willing to do. And it even uncovers opportunities you may forget to talk to the client about, such as, in this case, this client has $2,000 in a mortgage here in year 2028, and their mortgage is being paid off, and they can reallocate $2,000 towards their financial plan. So think about the insurance you could put in place for them. Think about the legacy you could support with that. Now you have that cash flow that's been allocated into the plan that you can start to make some recommendations as to where it goes. In this case, it's recommending to saving to investing, but you could actually allocate wherever you want that to go into the plan. And so on and so forth. So that's how the planning works with our expert mode. And I want to show you what this did to our financial well-being. So at the beginning of the demo, I showed you this insight list over here. It's getting smaller. We're getting more greens, okay? So our insights will look at things like debt service ratio, things like insurance, like we're really insured, so we need to get to these items for Billy and Susan. We're underdone on the education goal. And then we could just go to the next best thing that's recommended. So I could either apply strategies from the top priorities, or I can apply them from the list over here under financial well-being, which will continue to drive its like fair, poor, fair, good, great is the ranking that clients can achieve within this platform. And it drives a lot of really good conversations for you to uncover new opportunities. So let's keep improving the well-being and go solve the education. What I want to point out to you here is when I click on this, it's going to happen really fast. So you got to lean in, and it's probably very small on your screen. I should probably do this for you. When I click on this next goal of allocate, you're going to see the impact to retirement up here with a little red button, an indicator to show, okay, we're going to allocate towards the goal. We were at 112%. We've now gone down 4%. We've also reduced our legacy by $92,000. So the impact of us allocating $46,000 towards the kids' education made an impact on Billy and Susan's retirement. It made an impact on their legacy goal. And you can see it right away. So the client can choose if they want to do that, or they want to say, too bad, Billy Jr., you're on your own for medical school. You can go ahead and pay for that yourself. Let's solve the quick trip to Greece the same way. Showing a holistic goal solve, we'll allocate. But we're still only good. And the reason we're only good is we've solved kind of the money goals here, but we have not talked to these clients about very important discussion, which is our insurance. We have a number of ways in the tool that you can actually talk to clients about insurance. Okay, we have it a scenario way, and maybe I'll show you the calculator first. This is a built-in just needs analysis calculator that we run on the tool just against the plan to show you things like, you know, a T10 basic income replacement coverage. Okay, this isn't permanent or whole life or UL or anything. This is just a basic like plug figure for you to start the conversation. And what we can do is you can look at the options here. We have settings here. You can edit it if you wanted to edit your own details around. Maybe you're recommending a T10 policy or T20. Maybe there's some existing coverage and you need to edit that, so on and so forth. Or you want a more expensive funeral. This is all configurable, so you as an advisor can customize it to the needs and wants of the client. But for the purpose of the demo, I'll just go ahead and add basic life insurance for so going back, sorry for the little glitch there. This is a demo environment, so sometimes our developers are in there updating it. And if I neglect to tell them I'm in there, sometimes it gets done while we're demoing, but they should know. So we could go ahead and we could add that insurance strategy here. And now we've got life insurance for Billy, and we can add life insurance for Susan. That's very simple. Here's a basic coverage calculator. But scenario analysis and storytelling is often a very good way for you to illustrate a need to a client. So depending on the personality, they might have concerns about what if I live too long? What if I die too soon? Maybe you want to present disability insurance or CI insurance if there's critical illness. We have the ability for you to show the impact to the plan overall if, let's say, Bill passes away sooner. Let's say he passes away at age 59. and you can change this to whatever you want to do. You can say the surplus goes to just a bank account at 0% return. You could allocate it to a non-reg account if you would like, or otherwise we'll just leave it as default here. And then this is our scenario preferences. So again, we care about what the clients want to do. If they don't want to downsize the home, Sam will suppress that strategy. If they're willing to sell assets, we could do that. Are they willing to live on a little bit less and change their expense goals, or maybe give the kids a little bit less? Maybe not. Maybe that's very important. They can answer this accordingly, and the scenario will be added. And it will show you the impact to income and where that's going to have shortfalls in the plan. And so it makes it very easy for you as an advisor to showcase critical illness insurance requirements, disability insurance, because let's be honest, none of us love paying insurance premiums. That is just a fact of life. Nobody likes to pay insurance premiums, but we all feel comfortable and want to have it. As an advisor, if you can actually show them, hey, like this is your risk, you're going to have pretty significant shortfalls in later life. We need to have some additional life insurance in place. And you can add more scenarios if you want. So we've got one for life insurance. Maybe we want to say, what happens if Susan becomes disabled? And we want to go put that in. We'll just edit it quickly here. And her income impacts it. We can look at a number of different ways. So the needs are here. So this is at where the paycheck is going for a breakdown. I'm going to just bring in one other. I guess you could just use the dashboard here. I was going to pull up another chart to show you, but it shows here from a disability lens, she's actually okay with where it is. But if her income needs were higher in the future, or the disability happened maybe sooner in life, that might not be the case. The point is you can now add in any sort of requirement you need, and it shows very illustratively the impact to the client. Like, this is a problem, you need attention, or you know what, you're going to be okay. You can sleep at night. Everything is good to go. Now, all the while that we have been planning over here in the client portal, or sorry, the advisor portal, the client portal has been being updated all along. So you'll notice here, everything's updated, it matches in here, it's real time, so they speak to each other in real time. So if you're on your computer and your client's on theirs, but they're not going to be on their computer, they're going to be on their phone, right? They can be watching you on their phone and watch their plan update real time as they go through the planning process. They can click in, they can see their dashboard, and they can go, I want to show the to-do list. So this is their action plan. This is the list of items that Billy and Susan need to do to achieve the financial recommendations you have shown them. And as they click it off, or these are no longer doing, they're done, or there's notifications that come to them to say, congratulations, you did it, checklist off. So again, deeper engaging them in this digital experience that's making their financial well-being better. And I'm going to just get out of here for a second from the client portal and go back to, there's one other illustration for insurance that you need to be aware of. So we've showed you sort of the calculator from an insurance analysis, or from a calculator standpoint recommendation. We've shown you the analysis from the planning scenarios. I didn't go in here. We have long-term care. It's not very popular, as you know, because it's so expensive, but you can add these scenarios in here too and edit. So if you want to apply it to the plan from this lens, you could do it here. So depending on the client, if they like a story and like to show the risk, or you're having trouble actually helping them make that decision, moving over to the analysis can be a great way to overcome those objections they may have. Like, I don't want to pay $500 a month in disability premiums. Then you can show them, okay, are you willing to take this risk in the future? Then that's okay. Don't pay the $500. We can reallocate it wherever you see fit during that conversation. But we also have the ability to upload insurance illustrations into the tool. And when you upload, you can do it from this tab here. And you're going to go here, and because you're independent and you can work with any carrier out there, you have the ability to download a CSV file for a whole life or a universal life illustration that shows the cash surrender value of the policy with the MTAR limits, and when it's going to be funded and fully funded, and how they can actually collateralize it in the future if you're doing any IFA strategies, IRP strategies, policy loans, any kind of like advanced tax planning stuff or estate things to augment income and retirement through some of those strategies. Our tool can illustrate them beautifully. We have a converter here for you because unfortunately, Manulife and Candlelife and Sun Life all have different CSV outputs in their illustration software among all the other carriers, but you can convert it and you can upload it into the tool. Now, when you upload that CSV into the tool, I don't know if I've got one here handy. I think I can use this. We would recommend that IDC create a cleaned data lake, and we are built in a two-way open API. So when you're integrating some like client demographic information through Kronos or Equisoft, you're doing a flat file integration, which means it's like an Excel sheet with data fields that's being uploaded into the tool. We are very modern software, so we're not built that way. We technically could accept flat file, but it's very inefficient. We want live data feeds to your back office. So today there's nothing with ID, and Don, this is maybe a question for you to take away and maybe get back to the attendees on here. I can say with Worldsource, we have integrated into the back office and we're pulling in account information and demographic information. And that's important because you can click a button, you can refresh the account information in the back end. So that the investment account, for example, is uploaded to real market data time. We also have had many discussions with companies like Life Design Analysis. I think you have a partnership with LDA. Yep. Where we could actually use their APIs to connect to ours and bring in and illustrate comparative data. And what I'm showing you on screen right now, this CSV upload might not necessarily be required in that case. This is like a manual. This is a flat file upload when you're manually uploading this. And it's not cash surrender value. It stands for something. It's like a .csv file. It's like an Excel file, but it's just a version of it. We'll do a workshop on it, Don. It's really easy. We could show you guys in 10 minutes how to do it. You download the template, you merge the columns from one into the other, and then you upload it using these two. And some of these things, they just come in time, right? It's iterative. Yeah. Right now, you've got integration with single sign-on, and you've got the ability to send the clients the digital fact finder. You have the ability to aggregate off-book assets into, I didn't actually show you where it went in here, but I went to their investments here. So we are a living software, so we don't have any download desktop versions. Those get outdated too quickly. However, we do have a free 7-day trial for anyone who would like to try before they buy. You just need to reach out to your relationship manager. There's a process that we follow. They send in the request, and then we give access to trial it before you make your decision. Okay, two things I want to show before we end here, and this is stress testing the plan. There's a way to stress test the plan two ways with us. One is through our what if, and one is through volatility analysis. But through what if, let's assume the market crashes. So what if this is a sleep at night factor? Like, what if the market crashes? What can we do? You can apply proactive and reactive strategies. Like, maybe Billy can work part-time. It's a lightning bolt, so it's a reactive strategy. And if the market crashes, he's going to go and find a job making $10,000 a year, and he could potentially have to work for 10 years doing that. This is all editable, but this is to help you overcome any objections with clients not wanting to move forward with the recommendations because they're afraid of, what might happen. But we also have full volatility analysis, which we won't go through into detail today. But this is a full stochastic analysis. We're running 1,000 randomized trials of 800 different capital market assumptions, feeding in various return rates to see when risk is introduced into the plan for how it's going to perform over time. And we can give you more detail on that if you want in the future. But the last thing I wanted to get to was the story. So Don mentioned in the beginning, like next year, you're looking at presentation, how you're presenting to clients. And this is going to be a focus of yours. We have two ways you can present to a client in our tool. One is a digital story, and one is a PDF report. I'm going to show you the digital story today. It can be shown from the advisor portal. And what's important about the digital story is that You can configure it however you want. You can think of it like as a PowerPoint on steroids. So brand it your way, put your colors in. You can add a YouTube link to a YouTube video if you do any commentary to clients that way. It's dynamic, it's drillable, and it can be shown in the client portal. And I need to share it with the client so that they have it. And I'm going to go to client resources, and now my digital story is here. And maybe it'll be neat if we show it on, well, let's just show it on here and see. Okay, it's actually showing in the background. So I'm just going to pop over here and show it from here for the purpose of timing. It's popped into a new window, which is why it was not going on that phone there. But this is like what it could be. And why this story presentation is important is when you think about a financial plan, it's often a paperweight of many papers that gets thrown to the side. And sometimes clients never refer back to it. The digital story, you can edit it or show new stories over time. So maybe it's a mid-year review and you're showing them progress over time. Maybe you're showing them, here's our goal progress. This is what we've done. We've got you to good, but you're not to great yet because we didn't do any sort of budgeting or cash flow management. That's okay. Like maybe that's not something the client wants to talk about. You've set all of your goals. The point of the story is that it is drillable and dynamic. So I always use engineers and accountants. I have my brother's an accountant. I went to school for accounting. I have engineering friends. We like the details, right? Like this is okay. But what I really want to see is a drill down of the numbers and where it came from. So the digital story allows you to present a really nice, clean, illustrative visuals to the client, but they can still drill down and see where the numbers are coming from if they have that very technical brain and they want to look at it. But 90% of the population just wants to see and know, am I going to be okay? And these illustrations showing you're going to be overfunded for retirement. Here's what we're going to do. These are the strategies that we're going to do. And this is just a mock-up that we put together, but you can show whatever you want. Any graph that's available in the application can be dragged into this thing and you can present it as you see fit. Some advisors like this idea of a one-page financial plan, and all they do is they show the action plan. Like, here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to achieve it. Here's the list of to-do items. Let's check them off in the client portal as we go through and keep you moving forward with your plans. So it's a holistic goal plan. So we don't prioritize it on behalf of the client. The client can choose what they want to solve first. So Conquest doesn't make recommendations. Conquest is built, like the ethos is, build it in a way that's client driven so that they can do what they want to do. So when you're going through these goals here and planning them, I could clear all strategies and I could plan, but if I wanted to prioritize, if I knew the client, like the kids' education was most important, you could plan for that first and everything else goes around it. The differential is the flex comes from retirement or legacy, right? Because education, this is a specific dollar amount for a goal. They need whatever, $45,000. We won't ever go over 100%. We could be under, but we can't be over. But with retirement, you can overfund a goal because maybe they can retire sooner or they have more money in retirement. So it's unlike other software that like you rank, do this one, this one, this one. It's just holistic. When you play with the strategies on one, it will impact all the rest of them. So it's more manually driven by priority of the client rather than the software trying to guess and suggest which one should go where.
Okay. And in cybersecurity management, what info could be at risk by using the mobile app?
Yeah, no, we are we are SOC 2 compliant and audit our platform till the cows come home. And IDC also put us through a very rigorous security audit in terms of how we manage the application. So we can talk more about it if you have more questions, but we worked with we work with the largest FIs in the country.
Right. And then someone's asking about the fees, but what I'm going to suggest there is that Stacie Calder is in charge of our digital software and enterprise model. So we'll send you the email, Atalia. We'll send that email to you so you can get a hold of Stacie so she can get you signed up if you're looking at it. And again, try it for 7 days and see if it's something that you can learn and want to deal with, because there is a learning curve, a little bit of a learning curve. We do have videos on Win Big as well. There were 5 training videos that were recorded earlier in the year, and we have those as well. So there's lots of training material available, as well as the Conquest training material. So lots of training to get used to the software. Stacie, you're the salesperson. You're the executive vice president of marketing and training and distribution. Any final words? Why would I want to do this at all?
I mean, if you want to make more money, use Conquest.
There you go. Bottom line. I think that says it all. I appreciate your time today, Stacie. If you do have more questions, you can send them in to me, Don Hart at idcwin.ca or dhart@idcwin.ca. Stacie, somebody had asked for your email address. I sent that out to them specifically. I don't know if you want to broadcast your email address and
go ahead. Yeah, it's on LinkedIn. Reach out to me with any questions. If I can't help, I'll get you in touch with someone who can.
And it's just Stacie.Calder at conquest.com.
At conquestplanning.com.
Conquestplanning.com. That's right. Conquestplanning.com. And that will be in the video as well when I send the video. The other thing that I did notice in the training that we did do online is that when we have small screens where you can't see it, we actually zoom in on the video. So if you want to see a closer picture of what's going on, we can actually zoom in on those particular screens where data is being entered. So you get a better look at what's happening on the screen. So again, Stacie, fantastic. We're going to get you back again because I don't think we can do this enough. I like the idea of showing how to import files and a few other things. So,
all right. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thanks for your time.
Bye.